Joe Rogan may be onto something. He basically called Joy Behar out, admitting she's just a woman frantic about losing her job, something I've said all along here. I think that this show very much is in jeopardy. It's very much in jeopardy. And it all started, well, the feud, I should say, between Joe and the ladies on The View sort of started when Joy Behar went for the jugular, suggesting that, that it didn't make any sense to her that anybody could possibly watch this Joe Rogan guy. I mean, when they are so clearly all over everything and so much the arbiters of truth on The View.
And he also thinks that dragons, like dinosaur-y type of animals, roamed the earth when people did. So this is the type of really, really bad information that's going out there.
Well, in defense, there are...
Yeah. Okay, so she said, look, we are ABC. We are ABC News. We are governed by ABC News, and whatever we say is truthful. And they go on and on about him being Hitler, about him locking up anybody from the LGBT community. I mean, all of it totally bogus. I mean, let me just point out, by the way, your new Treasury Secretary, America, happens to be married to another man and have children together. They have a family. Like, this is not a guy, Donald Trump, who's about to be locking up people because of their persuasions. But that's not what they would have you think there on The View. And that's what's really kind of troubling.
People want us divided, and they aren't just here in this country. They're foreign adversaries who are infiltrating our social media because it is prudent for us to stay that way. So when you see something that really pisses you off, you should triple check that one.
Yeah. But I think that's why people like our show, because they know that we are checked by ABC News. But
we're checked by everybody.
Yeah. I mean, if we're wrong, we have, the legal note here.
The human legal note?
But we went from Walter Cronkite, basically, to this guy, Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. I checked it. He believes in dragons? He believes in dragons.
Did you triple source that?
Yes, I did. And he also thinks that dragons, like dinosaur-y type of animals, roamed the earth when people did. So this is the type of really, really bad information that's going out there.
Well, in defense, there are some really good news.
It's possible that Donald Trump did roam the earth when dinosaurs were here.
There are some really good news kind of influencer types, and I think it's great that they're getting information about global and current events in front of younger people who maybe don't tune into traditional media. But to Sarah's point, there has to be some fact checking and actually verification of the things that are shared, because I spend a lot of time on Instagram Reels and I'm served up things that I get outraged about, and then I realize, oh, that's not even true, but I have the sense to go and look it up. But what I do worry about with this, like the Blue Sky versus X, because a lot of people I follow on X, Twitter, have now left to go to Blue Sky, I worry we're all going into our own echo chamber. So we had this, this election that was tense.
And according to The View, the echo chamber is filled with people like Joe Rogan, who in their view are completely factually inaccurate, as opposed to The View, which just, is governed by ABC News, therefore must be factually perfect. Look, I got news for them. They have been wrong over and over and over again. And they're going to continue to be wrong. And then they sit there and they make fun of people like Rogan or, podcasts like this one. Reminder, subscribe, share, like, comment, all of that stuff. It's important. It's important so that we do all have a voice together. But here's Rogan firing back. And he's like, come on. I was talking to this guy, Forrest Gallant. Gallant put these ideas out there that, there could have been dragons roaming the earth in various times. And they went on to talk about how it is interesting that human beings always have had these visions of dragons, like going back thousands of years, right? In mythology, etc., dragon-like depictions. And so Joe went on to say that probably there was something, right? Like something. It doesn't necessarily mean there were dragons, but he wrote, quote, or said, quote, my position is that there were probably crocodiles or some big Komodo dragon or big lizard that did kill people, and so people fought them with swords and obscenity. And they came back with a story and the artist drew it. And then he went on to totally roast her and point out the obvious, which is that she's worried about losing her job. He said, this is the most important part. This is right after she was saying, we are run by ABC News and therefore you should trust us. He went on to say, but don't trust, Joe Rogan, of course, because he believes in dragons. So, quote, by saying we should trust them because they're double checked by ABC News and then making the stupidest effing statement, you didn't listen to what I said. You didn't listen to what the wildlife biologist said. And he continued that, basically this is an example of really frantic behavior because, dun-dun-dun, she is concerned about losing her job. She's concerned about the numbers that podcasts bring in. Quote, when you're worried about losing your job and you're worried about podcasts taking over and who is the source of news, and we said Donald Trump is Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us and this is crazy and Joe Rogan believes in dragons. It's just frantic, he said. He also made sure to wrap things up with saying, look, he has nothing against her. In fact, he'd give her a hug, and that, she's just a really worried woman who's concerned about losing her job.
Worried about losing your job and you're worried about podcasts taking over and who's the source of news. And we said Donald Trump is Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us and he won. And this is and Joe Rogan believes in dragons.
That's my favorite part at the end. Joe Rogan believes in dragons. Oh my gosh. Look, The View is struggling. They're struggling because their ratings are way down, just like the ratings are way down over as MSNBC, which is why, of course, Comcast is selling that company. And I do think that Disney is looking, don't take my word for it. Take Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney's word for it. He said they are looking expansively at how to get rid of these properties, how to get rid of ABC News, how to get rid of ABC, how to get rid of The View, because this is not a business that you really want to be in, do you? I mean, when you get a bunch of ladies going on set like this every single day.
You got to go because nobody can figure out what's being said here right now.
No, nobody can figure it out. So Joe Rogan admitting that the handwriting is on the wall for Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, and the rest of them. They're concerned about losing their jobs. I've said this for a while. Piers Morgan now out with a new column. We talked about this on Wednesday. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Did you? I had a great Thanksgiving. Look, I'm still into Thanksgiving. I'm wearing my little pilgrim outfit. That's how into Thanksgiving I am. Anyway, Piers Morgan coming out saying The View is a pointless, irrelevant, Trump-loathing joke. And that it's because of all this hyperbolic, I had problems with this word, the apocalypse. Just the other day, you guys were making fun of me. It's somehow, reading out of the corner of my eye and looking at the camera becomes problematic. But it is all about the apocalypse coming, right? And therefore, this is why this show is so over the top that, you go on and on about him being Hitler. And after a while, people get numb to that. And it wasn't how it was supposed to be. And he's pointing out, Piers is, that, when Barbara Walters created this thing, now deceased Barbara Walters, it was just supposed to be women with different opinions around the table discussing things. And that's not what it is anymore, because they hate who Donald Trump is. They hate him so much that they have basically turned themselves into a caricature. They kept saying, the sky is falling, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Kind of a Chicken Little kind of experience watching that show. But let me read from Piers and from his column. He said, quote, they all despise the man who is to be their president again. And that tediously myopic, one-sided act just won't play now that he's been given such a resounding endorsement from the American people. He writes, I don't like cancel culture, but given that the hosts of The View have by their own admission worked so hard to cancel Donald Trump, it's time that they cancel themselves, right? Oh, Whoopi wants you to know she's going to wait and see. She's going to back off saying anything bad against Donald Trump until he really does something spectacularly awful, because apparently nobody believes her when she says the sky is falling. So now she just needs to sit and wait. Either that or the producers told her, hey, look, lady, you're on thin ice.
I think what we're all saying is we're going to sit and watch. We're going to wait and see, because we can't do anything else except...
I'm not going to wait and see. I mean, this guy is told us he's a retribution.
What are you going to do?
There's nothing to be done until you know what you're fighting. It's
it's pissing in the wind doesn't help. You just get a wet face.
But I mean, what I'm saying is I have no false expectations that at 78 he's going to all of a sudden turn into a thing that's not human. And I'm not going to spend, I spent weeks telling people that he was apocalyptic. I'm not going to change now because it's still the same man.
Not treating every single thing like
I think that's when we lose credibility.
Well, here's the thing. You lose credibility in many different ways. If you don't know what you're talking about and you accuse him of something, then they're going to blow it back. That's why I say we need to wait and see exactly what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Can we not let Fox News off the hook, please?
I don't understand.
And Newsmax and all the fake news that's been going out there. You know, one of the things that we need to do, and it's not to abolish the Department of Education. As a former teacher, believe me, he's talking about doing that.
Yes.
You know, kids I brought this up before, I'm going to bring it up again. In Finland, kids in nursery school are learning to discern between fake news and real news. Yeah. They should be teaching that in this country. Yeah. Teach children.
I just love that because somehow this woman really and truly thinks she is fake news and no, forgive me, she's real news. We know she's fake news. She is trying to say she's real news. Everybody else out there, they're all fake. She's the real deal. She's the real McCoy because, you know, she's got ABC News checking her.
We went from Walter Cronkite, basically, to this guy, Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons.
Joe Rogan believes in dragons.
Okay, I could just watch that all day long. I really, really, really could. Look, these people are just too much. Absolutely, positively too much. A quick shout out for my new company. Well, not that new. We've been around, I guess, since last spring. 76research.com. We have a new guide, though, Invest in MAGA. If you're interested in how to play this MAGA sweep here, go to investinmaga.com. You can sign up, get all of that information and that research for free. If you want something a little bit more robust, you know what you need to do. You need to go to 76research.com, sign up, use code word dollar, DOLLAR, and get the 76 report. You can also sign up for our model portfolios. We get a basic income builder. We've got the American growth portfolio. So if you're interested in growth, go for that. And then we also have an inflation protection portfolio. So you get all you can also do all the portfolios. They have 10 to 15 stocks in each one of them by signing up for the Founders Club. But investinmaga.com, good place to begin. Guys, this is amazing.